back with a Friday Rewatchers Council. That means, folks, we're going to be talking Angel, specifically Season 2, Episode 20, Over the Rainbow. And, oh boy, am I ever glad that I'm joined by Brennen. Brennen, how you doing, pal?
I'm good. I feel like I'm in an army of darkness.
Yes, very much so, very much so. Your first time watching this Pylea arc, are you enjoying it so far?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm enjoying it. Yes.
I honestly thought I was frozen there. It's usually my fault, guys.
No,
Usually
I,
my fault.
I mean the production value here is pretty good.
Not too bad. Not shabby. This is something that they don't do on Buffy at all. It's just go somewhere else with all the characters. It's a lot of fun. Okay, let's get into the meat of the show because we got a bunch to talk about here. Original air date May 8th, 2001. Written by Mir Smith. The last one she wrote was Blood Money. I think she was a co-writer on that one, to be fair. It's directed by Fred Keller. Get it, Fred. Last one he did was Disharmony. Of course, I'm a big fan of that episode as well. Let's talk some guest star alerts here, Brennan. Got a couple. First, Daniel Day Kim shows up here.
Yes, I noticed.
Yeah, Gavin Park. He's an attorney now with Wolfram and Hart. We're going to see quite a bit of him over the next little while. Of course, he's probably best known as Jin Sung Kwan on Lost, but he's also in that new The Last Airbender or Avatar series or whatever it is on Netflix. Hawaii Five-0 he's been on, that new one, of course. 24. And he's done some work on your little Star Trek shows as well. Enterprise and Voyager, I think.
Indeed, he played an astronaut in Enterprise.
So funny. They're all kind of astronauts in a way.
Actually, in Voyager. Yeah.
They're all astronauts in a way. You know what I mean? Now, the second guest star alert. We can't really call her a guest star after this, so might as well mention it. It's Amy Acker, of course, as Fred. She's going to stay on, of course, as a cast member throughout the rest of the series. She's going to win, actually, a Saturn Award for her role here. She's going to go on to roles in Alias. Of course, I think she was the bad guy in that final season of Alias. Dollhouse, Happy Town, Person of Interest she had a big run on, as well as The Gifted, and a whole bunch of other guest roles and stuff like that. I think Cabin in the Woods, was that one of the ones? Something like that. One of those weird horror movies that I just can't get myself to watch at all. Okay, you ready to talk about Over the Rainbow?
Yes.
Okay, well, it starts off back at Caritas, of course. Everyone coming to grips now, I guess, with the fact that Cordy got poofed out of there when the Landok got sent back to his dimension. Angel, of course, asking Lorne, where did they go? And then we see her. Looks like, kind of like the woods out by Sunnydale, where all those Knights of Byzantium have been hanging out. It's a little.
That's true.
This one's a little different though. She does maybe not the smartest thing when she starts yelling for help in the middle of nowhere. Starts clicking her heels, getting the whole over the rainbow bit here. She is thinking there's no place like home, I suppose. And then we see a little beastie guy pop up. Sort of. Looks like those things that, what's his name, Tucker had at the prom. You'd figure that Cordelia maybe would have recognized something like that. Anyways, also, has that Oz-ish kind of running to it because it's a guy in the suit. Felt bad for the guy in the suits whenever they'd have to do this because it took a while to get in there and you weren't going to the bathroom until that thing was out too. That's some tough work. Tough work. You have to watch the fluids if you're ever a beast or a werewolf on Buffy or Angel. Now, this guy doesn't seem to be too friendly. Starts growling right away at her. She's going to run off. Now, I'll have to say this. Cordelia running off, it's more like she just takes a leisurely trot. She does not seem like she's falling off at all. This,
True.
this thing is easily gaining on it. We're going to go back over into regular Earth dimension. Lorne is having trouble getting rid of the situation. Isn't sure exactly where Cordy could have ended up in this world. We also find out, now I think this is weird, and this is going to come up a couple times. This is a man, well, like a man, demon, whatever you want to say, famously loves sea breezes, Brennen. But, much like Captain America, this guy can't get drunk. So this guy's just purposely drinking a sea breeze. There's nothing to him. I don't get it. I'll never get it.
Yeah.
To be frank with you. Angel's going to grab that book. He says, "Know what? We're doing this again." Wes is going to caution him. He wants more research done. Typical Wesley Wyndam-Pryce stuff. Angel's, he's not having it. We're going to do this. Wes grabs him and says, "We might never get back." Angel says, "It's Cordy. Well, what do you want? What do you want here?" So it's just like, yep, you're right. He's being foolish. The discussion's over. Angel reads those ridiculous words, Klaatu Verata Nicto, but nothing happens. Lorne doesn't know how this thing is supposed to work, though, either, so Wes gets his wish. He gets to do some researching here, how to make a portal with this thing. Lorne is going to, again, keeps cautioning all these guys about going through this portal, especially if you want to dress like a human being. Supposedly that is a bad thing over in Pylea. Seems like they get an awful lot of them. Anyways, we see Cordy running down. That beast is still chasing after him. Eventually catches up. This shouldn't have been that hard for this beastly kind of guy. Knocks her to the ground, only to give her some friendly licks. Oh, he's a domestic beast demon guy. Isn't that friendly? What a good boy. Anyways, some wrinkly face dude calls for him. Corey's, very nice. Compliment the pet and stuff like that. He's glad. The pet's name is Sequel, which is, not something that easily rolls off the tongue. Anyways, he says he found him a cow. Now, this is I guess a common name for human beings in Pylea, as we'll find out. A derogatory term, I'm sure. Not one that Cordy appreciates at all. Not something that Cordelia Chase would be a huge fan of, being called cow everywhere. He then is going to throw some magic rope that ties her up without even having to do any work. Pretty lazy. Can call her a cow again. Then adds, you'll be worth good money down at market. Which is not a terrific thing to hear. And you've only been on this planet or whatever for 15 minutes and already you can get sold. You're already goods. You're already goods, for God's sakes. Now, Cordy's more concerned, just about being food. And then never mind the work part that she may have to do. He then gags her and then drags her says, you better be quiet before you drive the price down on yourself and stuff like that, which would be terrible. That would be a terrible thing to have happen. Drive your own price down, for God's sake. So, back home in the regular Earth world, Angel wants some info on Lorne's dimension. He tells him that he didn't open that portal to send him to LA. I don't know how. Maybe when we're imagining how it could happen. We've had clues as to how it could happen. Then mentions his world's name finally. It's Pylea, of course. Anyway, it just appeared in front of him one day when he's in the woods. So, basically his prayers were answered. He wanted the heck out of there. And there was his chance. A big, swirly, light-bending hole that, might as well jump in. We've got nothing better to do. Angel wants to know who opened it. Lorne didn't know. He didn't care. Couldn't care less. And he then tells him he came through to an abandoned warehouse and somehow creates Caritas on that very spot. Now you figure he's going to be coming in with nothing, but we're going to find out. He's got himself a job. while he was in LA, but we'll talk about that in a minute. He then reiterates again Pylea is devoid of music at all. This is an absolute hell, especially for Lorne. He could hear the melodies in his head all the time, though somehow he didn't know what it was. So when he came and heard music, he could just confirmed everything. This is where he's supposed to be. Pylea is the hell he always thought. Wes discovers now that the portal's hotspot at Caritas went cold. So they're hot and cold running hotspots here, I guess, portal spots for these guys. So it's kind of you got to pick your spots or whatever, hope for the best. And so since it's psychic energy depletes when used, the library portal, that's gone too. They've already used up that thing to get people out. So they need to find a different one. Also, when people enter separately, they're going to arrive in separate places. For some reason, he found this out very fast. Wes did, just by reading this book. It has all the information you'll ever need, I guess, except for, I don't know how he's reading it because it's in that weird language. Also, they now know Cordy and Landok are separated. So she is by herself. Landok could be wherever. Landok knows the area, and Landok's going to be fine. Cordelia, on the other hand, we'll see. Gunn finally shows up. Angel fills him in on everything, but Gunn says, listen, he isn't going. He lost his buddy there, so his crew's going to need him. He's not going to leave his crew short-handed. That'd be ridiculous. You know what I mean? No, he can't afford just a one-way trip over there with everybody else. But wanted to be a man and tell them all in person, and you gotta appreciate something like that. Also, politely ask they find Cordy, which is the least you could do. The least you could say is nicely, like, please find Cordy. All right, great. Lorne agrees with them. Angel reminds them that they need a guide. Lorne says he wasn't joking before that he isn't going back. Like, he has his mind made up. There is no way in Pylea he's going back to, Pylea. But he has an idea, but where a hotspot may be. And then he's going to excuse himself. So, Wes reasons why Gunn should stay. He has people to save, of course. Angel argues he does too. That's why he's got to get going on this whole portal business. Meanwhile, Cordy's living arrives as livestock, tied up like she's Han Solo going to the Ewok village or something.
I noticed that. Yes.
The mix is the town here is that droopy, wrinkly kind of looking folk, like that guy who found her, and then the green folk, like the Deathlock clan and stuff like that, running around there like Lorne. That captor guy going to bring in a potential buyer to see Cordelia here. Promises she could whip all the jibber jabber out of her, maybe get a half decent cow in the end. She then comments how ugly the cow is. Again, this is all just kicks to the stomach for poor Cordelia. Then, especially doesn't like when the guy who's selling her asks for 2 pigs, and the person wanting to buy her barters him down to a pig and a pint of some kind of flib liquor, whatever the heck that is. But if I was over in Pylea, I'd try myself a flib liquor. If it's worth, the price of an entire pig, that'd be not too bad. So, it's a deal. Tells them to put a collar on her, which he does, and then cuts her down. Cordy explains, she's a cow. She's a human being. This is ridiculous. And only 1 pig. Again, for Cordelia Chase. She says the owner now has had enough of this, presses some red button, and a little jolt. This is, again, explaining she's an American, she has rights, you can't do this stuff. So when I see the little zapper go off on the net, my brother and I were at his sister's place. He's my half-brother, his half-sister. We had a couple of drinks here, Brennen. And she had just gotten a shock collar for her new puppy. So, being responsible people, Sean and I, he decides, well, we should test out this shock collar. So I have a couple drinks. He says, okay, your turn. You go first. I said, all right. I stick it on, like I hold it on the hand, and you feel a little bit of something or something. That's not where you go, though. It goes on the neck. So I just hold it onto my neck. And then he hits zap. I'm going to tell you, shock collar, it feels like someone takes a hammer and knocks the inside of your skull with it. Like, took, took.
Yes.
Yeah, bananas. One of the weirdest feelings I ever had. So I have a feeling how Cordy would feel when she was getting this shock thing in here. Especially if she's going to get reminded again. Cows aren't supposed to talk, they're supposed to work, or else. Though, she starts to leave. Cordy isn't having it again. Gets a couple more shocks. All of a sudden, she's, following right behind. But as she does, we're going to see a familiar-looking lady looking on a human being. Another cow-ish human being watching all this. So, back on Earth, we see Gunn just hanging out in his truck. Did you notice that the machine gun is gone from the truck?
Yes.
It was gone, like we saw that in the last episode, too, when they were stacking all the wood to build the funeral pyre. But I thought maybe they took it off or whatever. But no, here it is again. Just no machine gun on this truck. It's too bad. He's sitting there. It's just idling anyways. He's deep in thought, it seems. We then catch up with a bright, like, fuchsia clad Lorne. Like, this is a guy who is the worst at going incognito. He's always going to be able to single down the crowd. Not just because of the, he has green skin and red horns and stuff like that, but, he's dressed like he's coming right out of 1985 Miami Vice kind of stuff.
And that's true, yes.
With a baseball cap, though, which is important. So, he's visiting a friend at the Dial Psychic phone center he used to work at. She, luckily, of course, because they hire, for some reason, real psychics, even though they're, doing a little bit of a scam here. Doesn't matter. He tells her he needs to find a dimensional portal for some friends. She can see his aura's going bananas, though, so she doesn't want to help him. He tries to play it off as, he had some chili. He's got some chili tummy. You know what I mean? That always sets somebody's auras off. Then tells her where the portal will take them, and then goes on about the tortures he'd rather have here on Earth than having to spend any time back in Pylea. She says if he doesn't, they'll never rescue the girl. If he doesn't go back, it's his fault that Cordy will be stuck there forever. And them, I suppose. And then she says she'll tell him where the hotspot is as long as he goes. He's got a promise. He needs to clear up his Pylea issues, to clean up his whole aura that's gone all murky. And in the end, it seems she has him changing his mind. Did you recognize his friend from the psychic call center?
No, I didn't. She looks familiar.
Yeah. I believe her name is Persia White. She is the girl who played Aura in Welcome to the Hellmouth. And I don't know if you remember the name at all, but she is the first girl to open. They were deep in Whedon talk in that first episode. She's the one who pulls open her locker in the girls' change room, and the dead body of the guy that Darla kills falls out, and she screams. That's Aura.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, so she's making her return here, albeit obviously briefly, but of course that's what she was in Welcome to the Hellmouth as well. So, we're going to see Wes now workshopping ways to stay together through the portal. He's found a few passages about iron and metal being successfully used, which is, all right, that's something to keep in mind. But after 12 hours now, Angel's on his last nerve. This is the perfect time, obviously, for two Wolfram and Hart attorneys to show up looking to appraise the value of the hotel. Appraise it in what seems to be, like he says in a phone message later, 6 months before his lease runs up. So just a couple of guys just going in there to be jerks, I suppose. Now, Gavin Park and Mr. Hayes are the two guys, to be precise. Angel doesn't seem too excited to see them, obviously. And then he's told the lease is almost up. Again, it's 6 months. And he has a mortgage and a lease. There's there's some things going on with the hotel that I don't think they thought through too great when they were writing this episode. But anyways, they want to know if they could take a look around Angel faces and, does that look like you can just take a walk around here and stuff like that. And he says, well, you know what? We're going to tell your real estate company on you. They're going to tattle to his real estate company. That's something I don't think makes any sense about your non-compliance and letting two random lawyers look through a place 6 months in advance. I don't blame Angel one bit for telling these buggers to get the hell out. Anyways, they warn him if after the real estate place warns him and he still gives them a hard time, they can expect them to use some loopholes against him. And then they leave. Did this make any sense to you whatsoever? Just a hard way to introduce two new characters.
Yeah, it was very real-world business.
Yeah, that didn't make much sense. Like, legally, it made zero sense. But this is just something they had to add in because it's going to be a bigger part of stuff in the next season, and they really wanted to get to Pylea. All right, speaking of which, Cordy's now whining. She's got the job cleaning up some kind of poop. I can't tell you what type it is, but she's cleaning up something in the barn. Wonders aloud how to get this collars off. Then a voice warns her not to do this, and if she does, her head could implode, which isn't great. It didn't feel like that when I put that dog collar on. Anyways, Cordy agrees. Okay, last thing she needs with all these visions is just to have her head implode. And then she's also working, keep working. You got to keep making things look legit. She says she's from L.A. The voice says she was born there, except she wasn't. The voice talking might have a screw loose, it seems, because she also says she forgets certain words now. She tells Cordy, "You are on Pylea." This is the name of the place. Cordy asks how to go home. She gets laughed at for that. She'll be a slave until she dies. Unfortunately, that's how things go over there when you're a cow. Cordy says she was sucked in by a portal. The girl says, she wants to know where it was, but then we hear a voice call out, "Fugitive?" And then the girl gets grabbed right away. Probably one of the worst fugitive jobs ever. Talk to one person and immediately get grabbed. And this time by about 5 or 6 jerks here. Cordy's ordered to go face down on the floor. Good thing she got cleaned up a big part of it or whatever, you know what I mean? It'd be difficult to go face down on that barn door or barn floor, I can tell you that. Now, the lead guy finds the other girl's collar was disabled. And, she warned Cordelia not to do it. It's okay for her to do it. Well, whatever. Tells her she should have stayed in the woods, and they drag her off. Oh, that poor, as yet unnamed cow. So, we catch up with Angel again. We find out now it's been almost 24 hours since Cordelia's disappeared. He's leaving a phone message for somebody. He doesn't quite say who. Tells him this is where he tells him the hotel's lease is up in 6 months, and the mortgage is under the company's name. You can't have one or the other. You have a lease or you have a mortgage. It's one of the two. Anyways, seems like he's preparing to be gone for a little while here. Then Lorne finally shows up. Wes has discovered the way to get through the portal together and in separate pieces and not as one big congealed, disgusting Siamese quadruplet, if you know what I mean, or triplet. Back to Pylea. Cordy's now a pack mule, it seems. She's carrying goods for the new owner. This girl's name is Vakma, which isn't, not a pretty name. The name Vakma, you just don't hear much anymore, I'm going to say that. She has warned about her yapping once again. It's Cordelia Chase. She has the gift of the gab. Well, it's the gift of the what else. And now, she's also maybe not the best at carrying things. She doesn't have the load-bearing shoulders, it seems, to be a proper cow. This is where she starts getting a vision. She starts dropping things. There's a Draka now attacking a villager. It's happening while everything is going on, but nowhere near them. Everyone's going to gather to gawk at her. Vacma starts yelling at her, saying her cow's cursed. And then, she's like, no, I just got visions. Like, chill, chill. But no, now there's an entire mob surrounding her. They're all yelling that she's cursed. Just maybe not the best day Cordelia's ever had. So back to Earth, because we're going to be bouncing back and forth here for a bit. Angel, Lorne, and Wesley are going to pull up to the Paramount Pictures lot for some reason. Lorne tells him this is where his friend says the next hotspot is. Okay, great. Lorne warns Wesley ominously, hold on to the book so that they can get back. You have to make sure we get this book, or else getting back is going to be near impossible. Just throwing that at you randomly right now. Angel wonders if he should put the hood up on the Angel Mobile. He's told, don't need to. Again, maybe if he put the thing in there or whatever, maybe what happens to me if been able to stop. But now Wesley says all that we needed was just to have metal on all four sides of us. It's one of the weirdest things you've ever heard of while going through a portal, but he's sure that this time it's gonna work. Almost positive. He's about 96% positive or so. But in the meantime, while he's talking about all this, Gunn somehow shows up at the place. He's had a bit of a change of heart, it seems. Lorne, very excited about this, decides, well, now that we got a spare, what do they need him for? But gets set back down. It's like, you're going, buddy. We need a guide through all of this. The West is gonna say the words, Klaatu Vrata Nikto. The portal appears. Just like Army of Darkness, they're gonna drive into a new dimension. Except in this one, the book stays there on Earth. Now, did it fly out the car? Doesn't look like it. I'm going to talk about that in a bit. And of course, it comes rolling to a stop in a clearing in some woods. They're all together and separate at the same time. The whole four sides of metal worked. So there you go. Good researching by Wesley. Angel starts freaking out. He's like, oh my God, their son. He's gonna turn into ash here any second. But strangely, he's fine. Lorne also points out, buddy, there's two suns here. Never mind one sun. Wes supposed it has a different effect on vamps over there in Pylea. No kidding. Well, I think he's figured that out by not being a smoldering pile of dust right now. Lorne isn't happy, of course, to be home, but is the first one to say, maybe we should get this car hidden, guys. There's a distinct lack of cars in Pylea. So Angel's no problem. He's like, I'll find some branches. I believe there's some in this nice sunny spot in this meadow. I'll go get some right now. And luckily enough, in a nice big clearing for some reason, just a big pile of branches. He is very happy. This is the happiest you've seen Angel maybe ever in this entire run on not only this series but over on Buffy as well. It's fun to see a happy Angel for sure. Gunn wants to go find Cordy as quick as he can. So does Lorne, who's concerned for all their well-being. He knows what's going on in this place, for God's sake. So we see Cordy once again thrown to the floor in front of some villagers. She's still protesting. Guys, this isn't a curse. This is a gift. She uses this stuff to help people. Then the dude who took the other human away shows up, saying they found the villager's body. So, thanks for letting us know, Cordy. But the guy's dead. She apologizes, but, reminds him, hey, it wasn't me. It was like, I just saw it. But she saw it before it happened. So he deduces it has to be the curse. It's got to be the curse, Brennen. So she says she uses the visions to help people again, but Now there's a new dude coming up. Some cloaked dude. Some reddish skin and stuff. Whenever there's a cloaked guy coming in out of nowhere, probably not the best dude. You know what I mean? Unless it's Luke Skywalker. But you can tell right away that this was not Luke Skywalker. There's also a couple of guys that show up. They're wearing masks of Vulcan. I don't know if in America you probably didn't grow up with this Hercules cartoon show that came out in the 60s.
My dad did.
So, yeah, well, I used to watch this every day. So, there's this guy who had what's called the mask. He had the mask of Vulcan. You put it on, it made him impenetrable to everything, made him indestructible. But the mask kept easily getting knocked off. So these masks, to me, just automatically look like the mask of Vulcan. So I get excited every time I see it. Anyways,
Yeah.
this guy's going to do a little test on Cordelia. Then some folks drag over this big old table. And there's some pretty crude looking medical devices on this thing. Brennan, this is probably not, an algebra test, or an IQ test even. This is going to be one of those unfortunate tests, if you know what I mean. She promises she's going to keep the visions to her. So, hey, I won't bother you guys with these visions anywhere. Then you hear her screaming, no, and then we're back in the woods. So they think the car is covered up enough. They found a spot between a couple of shrubs, it looks like, threw some branches on it. That's got to be good enough. They're in the middle of nowhere anyways. Angel is up for a nice, brisk, sunlit walk to the village. Of course, he's super excited about it. Wes reminds Angel now to go grab the book. And Angel doesn't find that joke funny at all. So it's like, well, you were supposed to have it, and we got the you. It's like, what happened to the book? So they're going to accuse each other of having it last. Wes reasons, which is probably correct, since the book only opens portals to Pylea, that the book probably doesn't exist in Pylea, had to stay on Earth. That way, it removes everybody from blame. It's a magic thing. It had to stay there. But the thing's just in the middle of the road, and anybody could grab it, by the way. You know what I mean? Big old book in the middle of the street. Not like Paramount Studios would be a popular spot at all in Los Angeles. So, Lorne then mentions at times like this, he drowned his sorrows in gin and tonic. And I again say, why? Why would you? You can't get drunk. Why are you drinking a G&T? For the flavor? Sure. It has a distinct and satisfyingly delicious flavor. But it's the effects of gin and tonic that keeps making people drown themselves in it. Not just the actual taste. Besides, tonic, like a can of tonic or whatever, has way more sugar than even Coca-Cola does, which is bananas. The worst thing you can actually drink. Anyways, Angel gets them back on track here. First, they got to find Cordy. Then they got to find a way home. All right, guys? That's the plan. Cordy, unfortunately, now lying down on the floor. She's had a rough go, it seems. Then we see the red cloak dude saying that the Covenant has decided she has been cursed with the sight. And she gets dragged off. Like, everyone had already decided that, and we didn't. Now we have the Covenant saying it. Not even the Ark of the Covenant, just some dude of the Covenant. Anyways, the guys have made it in town now. Lorne wants them all to keep a low prof, due to Pylea's xenophobia, and that, if they get found out, they might get beaten to death, like sticks or something like that. So, he knows what people think of him at home. He still thinks, you know what? I see my buddy's house from when we were growing up. We used to do everything together. He's a good dude. You know what? This is going to be a nice place to make contact with. Is incredibly mistaken. You'll see Lorne running away. They soon follow. Others are going to start following them. There's a whole mob following them. They get into the market now. Get surrounded. It's fight time. Finally get some fighting in Pylea. They're going to do well enough where Wes, of course, is going to yell out, I think we're winning. And in the very next second, You're gonna see that
Yeah, they are not winning.
they've all been captured. Classic, classic overcorrection there. The main cop-like dude is gonna show up. Lorne says his name, Constable Narwek. Again, unfortunate names. He asks why you came back here, Lorne, and who's this cow scum you're with? Lorne saying, hey, they're not cow scum. They're my buddies. He gets reminded now that their cows are beasts of burden, and that's it. Reminds Lorne how he abandoned all his people's teachings, and then has them taken away for questioning. Angel then tells him, "You can't do that. He's gonna get booted for his insolence." But the sound effect is a slap. I had to rewind this thing a couple of times. You quite easily see Narwick kick Angel, but it's a sound every time.
That's true.
It's too funny. Anyways, he tells him, Narwick is going to motion to the guards here. They're going to grab all the guys. He tells them they've been judged guilty of assault against their betters, which is unfortunate. It's off to the dungeon until their highness passes sentence on these guys. Gunn is going to make a community service joke, and where he gets hit, you'd imagine he probably wished he kept his mouth shut. But he pipes up again. This time he gets punched in the mouth. It's like Gunn. It's like Wesley even says, "Gunn." But Wesley doesn't get hit for it, which is kind of, I don't want to say what it is, but it's not great. You know what I mean? Ultimately, they're all led to the dungeons. That Covenant guy again says that Corey's been cursed with the sight. This is something that they've been saying every time you'll see these guys for the first while. Says to his brothers that blood must be spilled. The guys are now handcuffed, but not collared. I don't know why they didn't put collars on these guys. Make it easier, you would think. Anyways, they can't break out of this place anyways. The walls are super thick. The door is super thick. Wesley starts thinking about the Tower of London. Angel says it wasn't that great. So I guess we can insinuate Angel spent a little time in the Tower of London and stuff like that. Hopefully in one of those least sunny kind of rooms you can get there, by the looks of it. Wes wonders how the host is doing. He doesn't say Lorne. Like, just say his name. You know his name. Anyways, Angel hears talking in the hall. Then these guys talking, give up the whole scoop. How there's a girl with visions, there's a covenant, a curse. They were testing her, and that she was screaming. And also that these guys are now going to come, lead them to their sentencing. So they don't fight these guards at all. They kind of say, okay, we're going to see what happens. They get led to the castle. Lorne is there, just hanging out. He's happy. It's not their corpses he's seeing, but their actual living bodies, and Angel's reanimated body, and you can't say it's living, I suppose. Now, he was merely questioned, not tortured, which is a big relief, I'm sure, for him. Angel tells him what he heard about Cordy. Then we get Constable Narwick again telling them to keep quiet. The guy's a real party pooper. Lorne tells them to lighten up. Good for Lorne. And in different words, though, he's going to say something about, you know what I mean. Is then called a traitor who abandoned his mother, his lovely mother. Brennen, how could he do it?
Yes.
Stooped to befriending these animals, and rudely tells Lorne that he's excited about watching him get killed slowly. It's one of the worst things you can say to somebody, especially someone you haven't seen in a while. Angel asks if they'll be sentenced separate or together. Lorne guesses together. I don't know what the difference would be. Narwick tells a guard what's to be done with their bodies after sentence is carried out. They're then led for sentencing before the monarch of Pylea, general of the ravenous legions, eater of their enemies' flesh. Brennen, prelate, of the Sacrificial Blood Arts and Sovereign Pro-Council of Death. I mean, this monarch sounds like a real jerk. But when the doors open, it's Cordelia. Cordelia is now seems to be running the show there on Pylea. And that's where the episode ends. We're going to get back to it next week. More from Pylea coming up on Rewatchers Council. Gosh darn, what a fun episode, and I love talking about it with you, Brennen. Thanks for joining us. Why don't you tell everybody what's up with you here on the good old internet?
Well, you can find me on Blue Sky, BrennenMart@BlueSky.social. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, that page turners, they were not.
Very good. Now, I'll be back on Tuesday over on the sports channel we have here, Good Friends, Better Rivals. Going to be talking about English Premier League, which is finally back after a prolonged absence. But I don't think there's any more weeks to skip here. I think there's been an international break, an FA Cup break. I think they're going to be in it through the long haul going up. So the sprint to the finish, Adelia's club and Ferris's looking like they're going to win the league for the first time in 22 years. They're excited about that. I'm not so excited, to tell you the truth. We also, on that channel a week from today, with our buddy Ryan Christensen, I believe Adelia as well, wrapping up the NHL season, getting ready for the playoffs that begin in just about a week and a half from now. Yeah, this over on the post. We're gonna call, this one's on Post Whistle, about to become Playoff Beards for the Stanley Cup playoffs, the original NHL show here from the channel. Next week, we'll be talking Buffy live Thursday, 5 o'clock Central, here with the Rewatchers Council. Of course, next Friday, we're going to be talking about Through the Looking Glass here on Angel's Pylea arc continues. So happy you guys came, watched, listened. We cried. We laughed. We heard about people getting kicked with a slap sound. We basically heard it all. Let's just say in the... Oh my goodness gracious. Now, in the words of Constable... We get words of Constable Narwick. Please like and subscribe. And we will talk to all y'all next time.
Bye.